Sehr geehrte Damen und Herren, ich möchte Ihnen heute einen Film zeigen, den mir die Öbek Foundation zur Verfügung gestellt hat. Er wurde von ihr in Auftrag gegeben und stellt verschiedene Projekte der OFID vor. Sehr geehrte Damen und Herren, ich wünsche Ihnen viel Vergnügen.
With billions of people still living in destitution and deprivation, some 191 states of the world adopted the Millennium Development Goals in 2000. These are 8 target accomplishments defined and expected to deliver mankind from want and despair. The goals are:
to eradicate extreme poverty and hunger,
in our time, over 1 billion people survive on less than $1 a day. Starvation and malnutrition maintain a stubborn, pervasive presence.
to achieve universal primary education.
Still, vast numbers of children never see the inside of a classroom and grow up unable to read or write.
To promote gender equality and empower women.
Although women play a key role in family well-being, their position in society is often underestimated. Equal rights are a far cry off.
To reduce child mortality.
Every day, thousands of children perish from preventable diseases. Sanitary conditions and health care leave much to be desired in less developed countries.
To improve maternal health.
Many women still die from complications related to pregnancy and childbirth. Often there is no doctor available within several hundred kilometers.
To combat HIV/AIDS, malaria, and other diseases.
Control of epidemics is a major goal for the future. Still, 1/2 of humanity is excluded from the medical progress the rest of mankind takes for granted.
To ensure environmental sustainability.
Clean water and proper sanitation are virtually unknown luxuries in many parts of the world. Pollution of the environment is one of the biggest threats to life.
To develop a global partnership for development.
Only working hand in hand can maximize the impact of development projects. Joining together will make progress accessible, equitable, and sustainable.
In Vienna, Austria, one institution has focused on the ideals embraced by the Millennium Development Goals for over 30 years. The OPEC Fund for International Development, OFID. The member states have always supported the work of their organization. Although developing countries too, they have excluded themselves from receiving fund assistance. Years of dialogue, coupled with first-hand experience of development problems, have made the fund receptive to the most urgent needs of the poorer nations. OFID promotes a relationship of equals with its partner countries, not one of supplicant and benefactor.
Founded in 1976 as a symbol of solidarity between the member countries of OPEC and other countries of the South, the fund started life as a temporary financial facility. It has matured into a vital force within the international development community. The fund's effort at raising living standards and improving prospects among the poor has been appreciated by statesmen all over the world.
OPEC Fund as an institution is an active participant in the achievement of these Millennium Development Goals. Actually, it is the core business of the OPEC Fund.
Poverty is overwhelmingly a rural problem. In sub-Saharan Africa in particular, millions of people exist at the very margins of survival. The shortage of rainfall makes it almost impossible to grow crops or raise livestock. As a result, diets are poor and malnutrition rife. Slow economic growth, civil conflicts, and the spread of AIDS have led to an intolerable degree of destitution.
Burkina Faso, for instance, is one of the world's least developed countries. For this reason, the fund's activities there are focused on meeting people's daily needs, including essentials like food. The driest areas could be transformed into self-sustaining regions by constructing huge dams.
Now that water is permanently available, cattle can be raised. Fishermen have settled around the dam. The collection of freshwater fish means better nourishment for the native population and brings new sources of income.
But also in other ways, projects like the Ziga Dam improve living standards for thousands of people. The OPEC Fund has, for instance, helped build an enormous water treatment plant. In countries like Burkina Faso, where many people still have to walk hours for a single bucket of polluted water, clean drinking water is a virtually unknown luxury.
Through kilometers of pipes, water is now transported up to the end user. Even the inhabitants of the faraway capital, Ouagadougou, now profit from water supply just around the corner.
In addition, water from the dam is used for farming. By means of an advanced irrigation system, it is distributed through a canal network.
This is a huge step forward. Providing adequate amounts of water means that peasants are able to cultivate nutritious crops. Now that the land can be farmed all year round, people may enjoy a more varied diet. The dream of turning a wilderness into a fertile oasis appears to have come true.
Agricultural projects are typical of the fund's efforts to help poor people become self-sufficient. Also in the mountains of Guatemala, OFID supports an ambitious agricultural project. In Cuchumatanes, at a height of 3,500 meters, most of the indigenous families are subsistent farmers, scraping a living off a single hectare of land. Modern inputs are almost unknown, so extension workers showed them how to introduce better methods and improve the quality and quantity of produce. The farmers first had to learn how to grow enough food for their own needs.
But beyond that, they are in want of marketing assistance to facilitate access to the outside world. Intimidated by a civil war lasting for decades, the indigenous people have had to be empowered to represent their interests by forming cooperatives.
Now, the people are not afraid anymore to get together and organize themselves to put money in their pockets. Another aspect of our work is to help them increase productivity and to improve the infrastructure.
The fund-sponsored project has also constructed new roads across an area of 2,000 square kilometers under difficult conditions. As the remote highlands of Cuchumatanes are largely secluded and inaccessible, the agricultural diversification would have been jeopardized without roads to transport produce. Now access to at least regional markets is possible, as 90% of the peasants only speak their native Mayan language, and most of them are not literate. They are trained to develop their capacity to bargain. With success, at each of these weekly markets, hundreds of people turn their goods into cash.
OFID has always recognized that development needs are constantly evolving, so it consistently reorients itself to meet the changing demands in a rapidly changing world.
The OPEC Fund is what we call a demand-driven organization. That is, we respond initially to the requests of our beneficiary countries. And actually, we see ourselves as partners. We identify the projects with our partners, which are the beneficiary countries.
Partnership is a concept highly valued by the fund, especially with the least developed countries. These nations make up the weakest and most vulnerable group in the global economy. Their needs are such that the fund accords them priority attention, as here in Yemen.
A meager 38% of the population can read and write. Many children still have to walk for 1 hour to get to school. The significant lack of qualified teachers highlighted the need for a nationwide teacher training program, so the government turned to the OPEC Fund for help. Educational institutions have been built and equipped with teaching materials in all big cities of Yemen.
In Burkina Faso, another huge educational project has been supported by the fund. In the rapidly growing capital, Ouagadougou, the university campus is overcrowded. Thousands of students have to force their way through the crowd every day. Insufficient government budgets, overcrowding, and management constraints made it necessary to find an alternative outside of town. With the support of the OPEC Fund, a brand new university campus